heard the term big data, right? It sounds super complicated, maybe even a little intimidating, like some kind of digital magic. But what if I told you it's a lot more down to earth than you think? What if it's really just like managing a river? That's what we're going to do in this explainer. We're going to break down the whole big data world, piece by piece. Seriously, just picture it for a second. All your data. It's like this massive, powerful river. It's flowing from everywhere, from your phone, from websites, from tiny little sensors out in a field somewhere. And see, the real trick, the whole point of this big data thing, isn't just having the river. Nope. It's all about building the right stuff, the dams, the canals, the treatment plants, to actually use that water for something important. All right, so here's the game plan. We're going to follow this river of data from the very beginning, right from the source. We'll see how to capture the flow, figure out the best place to store it all, turn that raw data into actual insights, and then the fun part. See how to turn those insights into real decisions. Ready? Let's dive in. Okay, first things first, let's just zoom out and get a big picture view of this whole journey. Because once you understand the flow, all the tech and the jargon we're going to talk about, it's all going to click into place, I promise. So, this is it. The whole shebang, in 5 simple steps. It all starts at the source, where the water first bubbles up. Then we collect it, kind of like building canals. We store it in these giant reservoirs. We analyze it, which is our purification plant. And finally, we make a decision. We open the floodgates. Every single thing in the world of big data fits somewhere in this chain. So let's start right at the beginning. How do we even capture this flow? All right, the river's flowing, we can see it, but now what? We've got to actually get that water out of the riverbed and into our system. In the data world, they call this ingestion. Fancy word, but all it really means is grabbing that info from wherever it is and pulling it into a place where we can actually do something with it. And believe me, this water is coming from everywhere. Just imagine a high-tech farm, for example. You've got these tiny IoT sensors in the dirt, sending moisture readings. You've got data coming from their phone apps. You've got info from their business software. Inventory, customer lists, that kind of stuff. Heck, you might even be pulling in social media feeds to track crop prices. It's a fire hose of valuable data, all coming at you at once. So when it comes to building your canals, you've basically got 2 main options. The first is called batch. Think of this like sending a big water tanker to the river once a day. It scoops up a massive chunk of water and brings it back. It's simple, it's reliable, and it's perfect for things that aren't super urgent, like a weekly sales report. But then you've got streaming. Now this is a nonstop pipeline, pulling in data drop by drop in real time. This is what you absolutely need for stuff that requires an instant reaction. A fraud alert on your credit card, or that farm sensor yelling, "Hey, I'm drying out over here." And honestly, if you're just starting out, batch is usually the way to go. It's just easier.
Okay, awesome. We've got our canals working. The water is flowing in. So where do we put it all? I mean, you can't just let it spill all over the floor, right? You need a reservoir. And choosing the right kind of reservoir for the kind of water you have, well, that's what data storage is all about.
So option 1 is the data lake. And I want you to picture exactly that, a giant natural lake. You can dump anything in here. Clean water, muddy water, structured data, unstructured photos, system logs, sensor readings, literally anything. It's super flexible and, really importantly, it's cheap. The whole philosophy here is just store everything now and we'll worry about making sense of it later. On the complete opposite end of the spectrum, you've got the data warehouse. So if the data lake is that wild, natural lake, the warehouse is more like a perfectly engineered water tower. It only accepts clean, filtered, structured water that's ready to drink. Its whole purpose in life is to deliver fast, super reliable reports in business analytics. So yeah, it's not as flexible, but boy, is it good for getting those official, trustworthy numbers. So for years, it was this big trade-off, right? You had to pick. Did you want the cheap, messy flexibility of the lake or the expensive, clean reliability of the warehouse? Well, you know how technology is. It never sits still. Now there's a newer idea called the data lakehouse, and it's exactly what it sounds like. It tries to give you the best of both worlds, the low-cost, store-everything vibe of the lake, but with the structure and speed of the warehouse, all in one place. Okay, so how on earth do you choose which one is right for you? Well, think of this as your quick and dirty guide. If you've got tons of raw, messy data from that farm, sensors, images, notes, a data lake is your best bet. If you need squeaky clean monthly financial reports, you're going to want the structure of a data warehouse. And if you're trying to build one system that can handle both real-time alerts and those big picture business intelligence reports, then the Lakehouse is probably where you want to look. And hey, There are even more specialized tools, like databases for tracking things over time or for mapping out complex relationships. The most important thing to remember is this: match the storage to the data. All right, we've collected the data, we've stored it in the perfect reservoir. Now comes the really cool part. This is where we turn that raw, murky water into something pure, valuable, and useful. Welcome to the purification plant. This is where data becomes insight.
So analytics isn't just one thing. It's more like a ladder. You climb it to get more and more value. At the bottom rung, you have descriptive analytics. This just answers what happened. For example, we got 5 centimeters of rain yesterday. Simple fact. Take a step up and you're at diagnostic analytics. Why did it happen? Oh, it was caused by that weather front moving through. The next step up is predictive. What will happen? Based on the data, we think there's a 30% chance of a flood tomorrow. And then, at the very top, the most valuable step is prescriptive. So, what should we do? We should activate the water pumps in Field B right now. See how each step gets more powerful? You go from just reporting the past to actively shaping the future.
Look, you can have the most brilliant insight in the world, but if nobody understands it or knows what to do with it, it's completely useless. And that's where data visualization comes into play. This is the final, crucial step. Think of it as the control panel for our entire system. And just like our reservoirs, one size does not fit all. You need the right dashboard for the right person. An operational dashboard, that's for the person on the ground who needs to act right now. It's a live map with flashing red alerts. An analytical dashboard is for the data nerd, the person who wants to dig in, explore, and ask what-if questions, like comparing crop yields for the last 5 years. And finally, the executive dashboard is for the C-suite, for the boss. It's simple, high-level, just the key numbers, the key performance indicators or KPIs against the big goals. Are we winning or losing? It's that simple gauge on the wall. This quote from Carly Fiorina really just nails it. The goal is to turn data into information and information into insight. And that's exactly the journey we've been on, isn't it? The data is the raw river. The information is the water we've collected and stored. But that insight, that's the clean, powerful stuff that can actually change things. That's the whole point. Okay, wow. That was a lot of theory, right? Data lakes, warehouses, dashboards, it can feel like a mountain to climb. But how do you actually take the first step? The good news is, it doesn't have to be that complicated. Let's make this super practical and break it down into a simple plan. Listen, the single most important piece of advice here is don't try to boil the ocean. Seriously, the best way to get started is to think small. Pick one simple question you want to answer. Grab just a week's worth of data. Clean it up a little, find the average, the minimum, the maximum. Super basic stuff. Throw it onto 3 simple charts and then just write a few sentences about what you learned. The point here isn't to build some massive, perfect system. It's about getting a quick win and showing yourself, and maybe your boss, the power of just looking at the data. So there you have it. We've traveled this entire river together. From the source, down the canals, into the reservoirs, through the purification plant, and right up to the control room. Your data, right now, is that same flowing river. It is full of untapped potential. So the only real question is, what story are you going to tell with it?